Hi there, Victor Prof speaking to you, Anarchist artist. My God, what a beautiful day it is. And here I am drinking coffee on a hot, muggy July day. July 4th, actually. But I do love my coffee, I have to admit. But anyway, let's get down to the issues. Today I'd like to talk about just a few spattering of things, Marxism, anarchism, small government advocates, fun, juicy stuff like that. I've been engaging in a few Facebook debates on different groups, among different people, on different issues, and yeah, I have to tell you that it's nothing that's new to me. I mean, I've debating various philosophical, political issues my whole life, as I am wont to do, sometimes in more formal settings, like Toastmasters or what have you. And sometimes with each debate, I learn a lot. I learn a lot about how people think and how they've absorbed various ideas, how they hold to them. You do get a glimpse of psychology. Not that I would counter their arguments with some kind of psychological evaluation in a demeaning way or something to pinpoint shortcomings as far as their psychology is concerned. I attack it basically on philosophical grounds. But I've had a few psychoanalysis, armchair, amateur, wannabe psychoanalysis tossed my way as to why I would embrace anarchism or why I'm an atheist and the like, which is just really a cheap shot. It really is, and I'm guilty of it myself in my life. And but the whole point is to be intellectually honest and to introspect and look within yourself to see why you embrace the arguments, the positions, the philosophical positions that you do. Is it some kind of toss salad hatchet job where you just pick up your ideas as they happen to seep into your head through some kind of social osmosis? Everybody's full of bromides, Everybody takes their philosophy as something that they took from the culture, some snippet they read or something that they heard, How many times have you heard, well, if you haven't got you don't vote, you haven't got a right to complain, or if you're critical of government, well, love it or leave it, pal, and they say these social cliches, these bromides, as if it's their original rebuttal. It's laughable, man. It truly is. I mean, it is endlessly entertaining for me debating with people, but sometimes it's very boring. Very boring. And I'm surprised, even at my age, in my late 40s, that I'm still able to be surprised by some people. But one such issue that I'd like to touch upon today is this idea of anarchists as being some kind of starry-eyed, glossy-eyed, kumbaya idealists, utopian dreamers, just they're completely lost in some beatific cloud of distortion and unrealism, because they don't know the hard, gritty reality of human nature. So there they are. They're this dreamlike idealist who envision a perfect society where everybody is morally purified. That if so long as one person advocates or inflicts violence, the whole system collapses. The whole system of anarchy has been ruined because of one person who could be a street brawl, or it could be some evil DRO that attempts to take over the rest of the population and become a de facto government therein. So that's the type of thing that I'd like to talk about. So how do people get these ideas that that's the premises, that that's the philosophical launchpad from which anarchists make their case? Well, ironically, or maybe not so ironically, this comes from, are you ready for this? Marxist ideology, of all things. This is how the type of things that anarchists are criticized for as being totally unrealistic and ideologues, and thinking of man as a purified being, that if only the state goes away, then we become morally purified, comes from Marxism. Now, Marx, of course, had the whole thing of a revolution, a dictatorship, or a revolution of the proletariat, in which the proletariat would gain the reins of power and whip the evil industrialists into submission, who hold the means of production, and then there would be a fair distribution of wealth for all, instead of the evil captains of industry hoarding the means of production themselves, by which they exploit the proletariat. So, but eventually, going on into Marx's ideology, and I'll just keep this simple, very straight, down to earth. I'm not going to get all fancy and academic on you, because I truly want you to understand where I'm coming from on this position. So anyway, inevitably, in Marx's ideology, there would be a temporary state. You can't, according to Marx and Marx's ideologues, you can't make an omelet unless you break a few eggs, and the eggs are human lives, and that's maybe it's unfortunate, but there you have it. That's what you have to do to achieve the beautiful society. And but eventually, with class distinctions being wiped out, human beings come into a purified state. They enter a state of gems. That's kind of like a secular version of Christianity's Garden of Eden, where man and woman by his side were purified beings before being contaminated with, oh, so dreadful original sin. And original sin being, of course, disobedience to God's dictates. So, in Marx's ideology, in this purified state, there's no class distinction separating poor from rich. We are all equal. We share the beneficence of nature and the goods, and they're equally distributed. And people would be working, and comes the Marxist tagline, from each according to his ability, to each according to his ability, or need rather. From each according to his ability, to each according to his need. So, whatever your abilities are, maybe this touches on in the area of specialization, whatever your abilities are, you're an artist. You create according to your abilities. You do the best that you can. You produce as much as you can to the best that you're able to. And people take from that according to their need. I mean, this is problematic and fraught with philosophical spring traps all over the place. But one thing at a time, I want to just give you this at basic cognitive digestible chunks. So this is the paradise that Marx envisions. And this is not something that comes about by human volition. It's something that's written in the fabric of the universe. We're going into Marx's cosmology. It's inevitable. It's fatalism. It's written in the cards. The script has been written on the universe, and we are just pawn players in the grand dramatic cosmology unfolding before us, of which we are merely driftwood on the currents. So, and so this is the type of intellectual lunacy of which anarchists are being associated with and grouped with in some kind of like package deal. But the fact of the matter is that anarchists of my ilk, voluntarists, anarcho-capitalists, or whatever you want to call it, voluntarists, angorists, This is not where we're coming from at all. Okay, there is not a thread, a spectrum, a spat of Marxist ideology from where anarchists are coming from. We are coming from not a grand cosmological scheme of unfolding dialects and, and Kantian, Hegel / Marxist gobbledygook. We're simply coming from a basic, perfectly secular, rational, identifiable, reasonable moral premise, and that is the non-aggression principle. Okay, it's wrong to initiate force against people. This speaks to the initiation of force. It does not speak against retaliatory force, but against the initiation of force. So what is wrong for you to punch your neighbor in the face, steal his property, wrestle him to the ground, kidnap him, chloroform him, keep him confined, kill him, murder him, harm him, injure him? All of this is wrong on a personal level. We all know that. It's the kindergarten ethic. It would only be an extremely sick, psychotic person who would say, in all seriousness, no, it's okay to aggress against people. Most people agree with this. This is anarchism, okay? This is anarchism that embraces the non-aggression principle. I live by it, you live by it, I assume. So, where you have that, you can't have that just carved off into a little tiny little sliver of the universe and go, yeah, in our private lives, that's what we do. But when it comes to the world politics, okay, the grand scheme of society out there, it's considered to be a morally obligatory to initiate force, because that's what government is, and everybody knows it. Deep down, and no matter with all their fancy, glossy ridicule and their little snickering side comics and all their little rebuttals and their package dealing of anarchism with Marxism, they all know this. They know it. But still, they're advocating it because they have a blood-stained soul. They have violence stapled onto their souls because of the institutions of which we all live under. That being the rampant dysfunctional family. They gain a lot of their values from that, from compulsory schooling, institutionalized indoctrination, and from society at large, and an ever-growing stream of government propaganda. People have bloodlust on their souls. Sometimes that spills over to their private lives, where they think that initiating violence against people is okay. But for the most part, people are not like that. But when it comes to politics, as I've said before, people turn into fucking assholes. Okay, where they think that initiating violence is absolutely necessary for the utility of society. But in their personal lives is wrong. Well, this is a contradiction. Okay? If you can't universalize a basic moral premise, it's not an ethic. It's just bullying. It's just tyranny masquerading under the guise of benevolence and good intentions, and just call it for what it is. So I hope that clarifies this issue of the dreamy, glossy-eyed, defanged, kumbaya anarchists all joining hands and singing praises to the skies above, where man can finally live in peace and freedom, if only we remove the shackles of government. But actually, the first shackles that we have to remove is the mental shackles, in which misinterprets purposely 9 times out of 10 what anarchism is all about. Thank you for listening. This is Victor Pross, Anarchist. Pop goes the culture.